Right now, I have zero interest in that at this time. Now, that is at this time. That was Jay Johnson's comments regarding being asked about taking a job with Major League Baseball. Not right now, not at this time. Right now, at this time. There's been a lot of speculation over the past 2 days. A lot of saying to relax. A lot of saying that this is all getting blown out of proportion. There's not a lot of things that worry me about LSU baseball. I trust Jay Johnson implicitly. What does worry me about LSU baseball is Jay Johnson not being here. Not to get too deep into things, but things I have heard before yesterday were that, yes, Jay Johnson's very happy here, but he's not very happy with the financial commitment that has been given to him by the purse string holders at LSU. One more thing he said during that presser, he said that he hasn't been offered a job with Major League Baseball yet. Did not say he hasn't been spoken to. Am I worried? Yeah. Not saying he's going to leave right now. But a lot like the rest of you, I want Jay Johnson to be here until the end, like Skip. He is Skip Burtman reincarnated. And I want Jay to be here. So, yeah, I'm worried. And a lot of people can tell me, oh, I'm blowing things out of proportion. I am that NIL isn't a problem. People talk about him missing in the portal because of NIL. Look, we're going to get into all that tonight. We're probably going to spend a lot of time talking about Jay Johnson. We're going to talk about the Southern game. We're going to talk about the Tennessee series. And now that we're at the halfway point of the season, what are my takeaways of the season so far? But we're going to talk about Jay just real quick to start the show. Jay's comments yesterday when asked about that job with the Major League Baseball, it kind of came out of nowhere. I guess you could talk about Tony Vitello starting the year. I mean, but we've been known about that for a while now. And why hasn't it come up before? I think Jay's comments yesterday were more than a warning shot at the purse string holders and the brass of LSU. Jay is whether you believe it or not, is a very honest coach. He doesn't sit there and fluff things. He doesn't tell you a lot. Case in point, Cade Arambidi. Now, over the weekend, none of the credentialed media staff asked about Cade Arambidi, so he didn't give you anything. But then he comes out and says he's hurt, well, not injured, but hurt. Why would he give you that information if you don't ask? But when asked about Major League Baseball, he says, yeah. To me, it sounded like, yeah, not right now. We got a lot to build here. We want to be the best program in the country. Not right now, not at this time. How do I take that? It worries me. Let's talk about what's been going on around LSU the past couple months. So you fire Brian Kelly, you raise a ton of money to do the buyout, then hire Lane Kiffin, hire his whole offensive staff, hire new staff, and keep hiring staff. You fire Matt McMahon, you hire Will Wade, you promise him a large NIL budget. Where's all this money coming from is what Jay is asking. Now, I don't believe those comments and that poking at the brass is centers around NIL. I do not believe there is a player that Jay Johnson has recruited and not gotten due to finances. I don't think it's because Jay wants a bigger contract. I truly don't believe Jay cares about what he makes. Does he want to get compensated fairly? Yeah, we all do. But I don't think Jay is looking to make $12 million a year while he's here at LSU. Jay's trying to make this program the best program in the country. We're already the pinnacle of college baseball, no matter who you talk to. If they say you're not, they're lying. But Jay sees a lot of money getting thrown at other things, and he's wondering, where's that money coming from? let's talk about things that Jay has requested since being the LSU head baseball coach, and really he didn't request anything until after he won his first national championship. First, he wanted the bullpens moved, which let's kind of talk about this for a second. Who in their right mind doesn't segregate the bullpens from the playing surface? Who doesn't have that in a different part of the stadium? That's the type of forethought or second thought that LSU baseball gets to the people who have the purse strings. Because let's be honest, LSU is a baseball school. Now, football reigns supreme. I get it. That's the biggest moneymaker at the university is football. It's going to continue to be that way. So football is kind of in a tier by itself. Don't lie to yourself and say we're a basketball school. LSU is a baseball school. Now, again, getting to the money, Jay looks at all the money being spent, and let's talk about just recently the Will Wade hire. With Will Wade being hired, that moves a lot of things into motion that were kind of put on pause. There's going to be a new basketball arena being built where the golf course is now. I'm not happy about that because I lose my driving range, but to each their own. With the same breath, you guarantee Will Wade some NIL money and some TV revenue money. In return, Jay already knows more money is going to go to women's basketball because Kim is not going to allow her cut to be lessened for Will Wade men's basketball. Really, it shouldn't be because she's won a national championship. The person stuck there holding the bag is Jay Johnson. He's going, well, I've won 2. And I haven't asked for nearly as much as any other program. Why am I getting pushback? That's probably why Jay feels that way. And if you listen to Zach Nunez from Go Deep Dive, you'd know there would be a lot of shakeup with this Will Wade hire. You had board of supervisor members being put on. You have LSU University staff members being brought. You have Heath Schroyer taking a former position with more responsibility or more freedom than Verge Osbury had at that position. Just to bring back a men's basketball coach, and Jay just wants a little extra money. How is Jay supposed to handle that? This is college athletics now. And really and truly, from this aspect, it's always been college athletics. If you've paid attention to college athletics since the mid-aughts, you'll know that the arms race was facilities. What facilities were the best? That's why you have the brand new locker rooms and the physical training aspects, the whole football ops building being built. It was everything. Hell, Tiger Stadium just got a renovation. And I know as LSU baseball fans, we look at Alec Box with this grandiose idea of it because we love that place. The place is almost about 17 years old now. It hasn't had a lot of upgrades. They had the loge boxes added, which I have my opinion on those. They finally moved the bullpens after what? 16 years, 15 years? Got tired of getting players hurt going across the bullpens. How many national championships does Jay have to win before the LSU brass decide they're going to give him what he needs to make this a competitive program? Not that it isn't already, but the competitive program he wants it to be. Think longer into the future. Major League Baseball is talking about getting rid of drafting high school athletes. I think me and Zach talked about it on the watch along Tuesday, which if you weren't there, you missed out. Maybe we'll do it again. Maybe we won't. All depends. But it could go into effect as early as next year. What does that mean for Jay Johnson? More recruits that he wouldn't lose to Major League Baseball coming to Baton Rouge. Think if this was a case if Connor Griffin was here right now. How good would our infield be with Connor Griffin? Now, and like I said earlier, I don't believe this is purely an NIL thing. I do know he wants more money for his assistant coaches. A lot of people don't know this, but guys like Jamie Tutko, Chief Wanaka are making like 50K coaching national championship level baseball teams, being key cogs, key pieces of that coaching staff. You think 50K is enough to keep those guys around? I'm surprised Tutko stayed. Tutko is a brilliant baseball coach, whether you see it or not, and we need to keep him as well. How many national championships does Jay have to win to start getting listened to? So what is his money? What does he want this money for? What is the shortage coming from? So I'm saying it's not NIL money. I'm saying it's not losing kids due to financial reasons, which I don't believe it is. Matter of fact, Jay gets kind of the Nick Saban treatment, knowing that, oh, I can go to LSU, which is the pinnacle brand of college baseball. It's called the powerhouse. And I can play for a guy like Jay Johnson, who has the highest amount of salary, highest number of salaries from a college in all of the country. I forget what the graphic they put out was. That's a lot of money. What does he want? Well, can't tell you for certain exactly what Jay wants. If I knew that, I'd have Jay on the show. But I can tell you what I've heard. Jay wants, for one, to extend the grandstand, have more covered, more premium seating in the box. He wants to have upgrades to Alec Box. He looks at that and thinks he needs it. Someone had a speculation of putting like a premium kind of bar deck in the outfield and right center. I don't know about that, just something I've heard. One thing that Jay has been vocal about is wanting an indoor facility. He's not asking to have this whole brand new building be built in another part of campus. No, he wants the facility they have now behind right field just extended, built out, added on to, so we could have more of a indoor infield, maybe a little bit bigger, somewhere they can do more work indoors when it's cold here in Louisiana or it's raining here in Louisiana or you can't get on the field here. He doesn't want to have any excuse for anybody not getting ground balls or not getting the work they need to get in. Baseball is usually the last thought anybody ever has at LSU when it comes to finances. Let's take a little spin real quick. I'm not exactly positive of these numbers. I know I'm going to be close. But women's basketball, Kim Mulkey. I love her to death. Tangible Ho's finest. But the women's basketball team last year, I think, lost $8 million. The men's basketball team, I don't know how much they lost because, well, this past year has to be a lot, I would think. But they are the second highest earning sport at the school. I get that. LSU baseball lost around 950 to a million, 950,000 to $1 million. And you're adding more resources to women's basketball. What if you added seating with more premium seating to the box? And what if you raised ticket prices a tad bit? Is LSU baseball profitable then? Maybe. There aren't many schools in the country that put money towards college baseball. I get it. There's not a lot. You have some schools that I remember the old Cal State Fullertons. They're still around, but I think they're just Fullerton State or something like that, or Fullerton College. It's not Cal State Fullerton anymore. But you have schools like that yeah, they put their whole budget to college baseball. In the SEC, you got Mississippi State. They want to be competitive in college baseball. They care about football, but not as much as college baseball. LSU needs to be one of the premier programs in funding college baseball because you are a baseball school. If you don't believe me, listen to Skip Burtman. I've talked about this interview a few times. If you haven't went and watched it, it's a gem. Go listen to Doug Thompson on Louisiana Loaded with Will Helmers. He talks about Skip looking at Doug and going, we cannot let him leave. He's doing things I would have never thought of and succeeding. If Skip says it, somebody should listen. The NIL money is there. Start giving Jay what he needs. He's not asking to take the whole budget. Let's break it down like this. Is LSU football going to get the lion's share? Yeah. In my eyes, they wouldn't need to. They're so profitable. They could probably do other ways of doing it, but let's just stick to the facts. They're going to take the lion's share. I get it. Does basketball need it now? Well, yeah, you hire Will Wade. You got to feed him. You got to give him a chance to be successful. You didn't bring him back here and cause all this backlash and move all these people and do all these positions. It's not give him what he needs. Is Kim Mulkey going to get her? Sure. Yeah. She is. Kim Mulkey, I love her to death. She's the loudest dog at the bowl. She understands the loudest dog gets fed first. And not putting down on her when I say this, but she's the loudest dog. I mean that with immense respect for Kim Mulkey. Jay Johnson just needs his taste. Do I blame Jay Johnson if he leaves LSU? No. I'd hate it. I would seriously hate it. But I don't blame him. If I'm not going to give him what he needs, then why stay? If you're not going to be committed to giving a two-time national championship head coach of your baseball team the resources he believes he needs to be successful, then why stay? Go to Major League Baseball. Get the payday. Who cares? I believe Jay Johnson wants to stay. No matter what. Do you want to know what you can do to help if need be? It's called the Coaches Committee. If you're an alumni, it's $250 a year. It's too easy. Go cancel a subscription that you don't watch anyway. You're not going to doesn't charge you anything to watch me or get free memorabilia, so you ain't got to look at me. Go join a coaches committee. Why coaches committee? Why not just donate to TAF? I say coaches committee because that money goes directly to baseball. It does not get finger fiddled by anybody in the brass, which is the last thing we need. We all need to do our part. I get it. We buy the merch. We buy the tickets. I get it. Trust me. I wish it wasn't like this, but this is the state of college athletics today. If you want to win national championships, you got to be competitive in every realm of the game. Join the coaches committee. Do your part. Nevertheless, we're here. We're going to get a little more upbeat, a little more happy. I just had to get that off my chest. A lot of you saw the post I made. I wasn't trying to blow something bigger than what it was. I'm honest when I say if now the headline, I get it. But if you hear Jay Johnson's comments and that doesn't give you a little pause, you're not paying attention. Do me a favor from me. Like, subscribe, follow, like the stream. Follow Walk It Off Talk. Follow Paul Jarrett 16 on Instagram, X, YouTube. It's free. I'm not making money from any of this. Just help me out to keep bringing this content. Also, pick to click. Get your picks in. I got a whole shelf down here full of memorabilia just waiting to give away. I had 2 people stop by today to pick up this stuff. Everybody else I need to send it out to, I'm sending it out. Give me time. I have a full-time job and a family. It's coming. I promise. Ask the people who've already got their stuff. They're getting it. I'm not keeping it. Take a quick break. Well, let's go to comments first. Comments. Tiger Joker's in the building. What's up, buddy? Looking forward to a great show. Y'all make sure y'all check out Joker's show. Purple and Gold Talk on YouTube. Yeah, it's a good show. Babin on the Bayou. What's up, Babin? He did a really good job the other night filling in for David Billiot in the press box at Alec Box. Got stuck in the rain, but it is what it is. You're there to get it done. Alex, my girl, how you doing? Tiger Talk with Alex. She's going to start that up again pretty soon. I'm pushing her to do that. Babin again, he's the only coach at LSU that can truly say he's the best number one coach in his sport. He is the best. Look, I've said this till I'm blue in the face. He's the best coach in baseball in the country. I don't care. I do not care who you put up against him. He's the best coach in the country, bar none. I don't care what sport you throw at me. Who's a better coach, Lane Kiffin, Jay Johnson? Jay Johnson. Why? He has 2 national championships. I love Lane. I'm happy he's here. Win a natty. They come talk to me. Uncle Randy's in the building. How you doing, my friend? AP is in the building. What's up, buddy? Make sure you check out Timeouts and Tangents and Coffee and Tea or Timeouts and Tea in the morning. He's kind of mimicking Baldy's stuff, but he's doing a better job. He's doing a better job of it. Take a quick break, pay some fake bills. We'll be right back. Stay with me. In South Louisiana, there's nothing we love more than God, family, sports, and food. For your next get-together, make sure you contact Lemise Sourdough Bakery. Whether you're gathering with friends and family for the big game or surrounding yourself with loved ones for a Sunday dinner, let Lemise Sourdough Bakery provide what you need to make it that much more special. Lemise Sourdough Bakery is a small batch, all organic bakery right here in the heart of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Go take a look at what's being mixed up in the kitchen next, as well as place your orders on Instagram at Lemise Sourdough Bakery. Don't forget to pick up your regular sourdough loaves, your jalapeno cheddar loaves, cookies for those late night snacks, and cinnamon rolls for those early morning cravings. Lemise Sourdough Bakery, where the first ingredients in anything made is love. Lemise Sourdough Bakery. What up, what up, what up? All right. Make sure I didn't miss any comments before we go on. I have not. All right. So getting back to the show. Let's talk about Southern. I hope you enjoyed. If you did tune in to the watch along with me, Zach Nunez, and Tiger Joker, hope you enjoyed that. We had a good time with it. I know that the weather delay put us old men in a box and we had to cut it short. But Tigers won 16-6. When we left, it was tied up at 6. So maybe we don't do watch alongs. I don't know. Jaden New got the start. Let's talk about the beginning of the game. It wasn't the best start for Jaden Newt, and it wasn't the best first relief appearance for Ethan Plau. Honestly, it wasn't a great start for the offense in general. It wasn't a great start for this team all together. You would go down 6-0 at one point, and then Stephen Milam would come in. No, I think it was 5-0 at that point. And then Stephen Milam come in and hit his second home run of the year from the right side and make it 5-1. Let me get to that real quick. This team has to stop coming out so flat. They have to. Jay has said himself, you're right in the heart. This is going to be your 4th weekend of SEC baseball. If I'm not losing my mind already, you're right in the thick of it. You're halfway through the season. This team should have picked this up by now, but for some reason, they're still kind of slow to the beginning of the game. They need to stop coming out so flat. It is driving me absolutely insane. We were all talking about it during the show. Like, what do you do if you're Jay right now going into the weather delay, trying to get some energy out of this team? But to start the game, Jaden New got to start. Again, it wasn't his best start. A lot of walks. Southern put the bat on the ball pretty well. And that's just the best way to beat this team, this LSU team, is play fundamental baseball. That's what Southern did. Put the ball in play and let them make mistakes. Kind of going to start off here after Milan's home run. And let's talk about Milan real quick. A lot of people will bag on him about his bat. We all know what happened earlier in the year. We're not getting into that. There's certain positions on a baseball field you can sacrifice offensive production. That's up the middle. Catching, short, center field. Because those are such premier defensive positions. Think of a guy like Alex Milazzo. Milazzo, you would sacrifice his bat 9 times out of 10 to have his defensive prowess behind the plate. Same thing with Stephen Milam. Now, I think the bat is turning around, as you'll see later on in the recap. But whether he hits 275 or 325 or 225, I don't care. His glove has been gold, and that's all you need from him right now. So just be happy. Just look at Monster Milam at bats, productive at bats, home runs, his lanyard. That's all I gotta say. Plog will come out in the third, and after he walks the first batter, he sees and then he allowed a base hit. Jay would see enough. Ethan Plog has been a great pitcher for you so far this season. He's kind of hit a rough patch. Expect that from every pitcher you've seen to hit a rough patch. Every pitcher I think LSU's had has had a rough patch. This is Ethan Plog's. He's going to bounce back. You're going to see him this weekend against Tennessee. Don't let this outing kind of give you a bad taste in your mouth. It's going to be good. Connor Benj would come in, and he would earn 2 strikeouts to start off his outing. Let me talk about Connor Benj. I've given Connor Benj a lot of grief because I still remember the one thing that Jay hasn't done with any other pitcher on his staff, taking the ball from him. Jay believes wholeheartedly in that Skip Bertman hold the rope mentality. You don't take the ball, pitcher hands the ball to the next guy, hold the rope, move on. Connor Benj is the only pitcher I've seen Jay take the ball from. Why is this such a big deal? Well, he broke his own tradition. He broke his own methodology. Baseball, you don't do that. You don't mess with that kind of stuff. I like what I've seen with Connor Benj. The last few outings he's come out. And aside from a swinging bunt right after his first 2 strikeouts, he was great. He produced a fly ball to left field to Stanny to get him out of the inning. And I'm not going to jump on Stanny for that ball in the outfield. I know if you watched the watch long, you saw me kind of have an out-of-body experience because that's how solid Stanfield is in the outfield. You don't see him make those kind of mistakes. He's earned it. It's whatever. But with that misplay, Southern would have the bases loaded at that moment after the swinging bunt, and that would clear the bases. It sucks it happened that way for Connor Benj, but that is what it is. Benj would bounce back, though, and earn his 3rd strikeout of the inning, getting out of the inning. I love the grit the kid is showing now. That's a grit he hadn't shown last year, for instance, when Jay took the ball from him. And I told my wife at the time, I'm like, hey, you're not going to see him back on the mound. It's not going to happen. Why is it not going to happen? Well, he took the ball from him. He's back. I like his grit. So I look forward to seeing more Benj coming up in the season. So in the bottom of the 3rd, this is when the Tigers will really start getting stuff going. The Tigers would load the bases with a walk for Beatty. Stanley would get hit by a pitch, and Brown would fly out to the left. And Cerna would get a pop-up to shallow right between 3 Southern defenders, and that's how you would load the bases. Omar Cerna, when you're hot, kid, you are hot. And when you are hot, the ball is going to find green grass. I always post on X, put the ball in play, good things happen. Well, sometimes you can have three defenders surrounding the baseball, and you're going to find yourself on base. Add a baby starter. With the bases loaded and 1 out, Curiel will come up to the plate, and on an 0-1 count, Curiel would turn on an inside fastball and drive it out of right field. It kind of looked like somebody said he broke his ankle one day. It had the same kind of home run that day when someone said he broke his ankle. But I talked about it on Monday's show. I talked about it over the weekend, and on Tuesday's show with the watch along, and over the weekend and on posts on X. Seeing Curiel going backside, hard line drives backside. And I'm saying backside, people don't understand. I mean, opposite field through the 6 hole, over a third baseman's head, driving balls into the left field. That kind of showed me that Curiel is kind of feeling it again. Curiel hasn't been bad this year. We haven't seen the power. We have seen 2 home runs in the last few days with Curiel. I believe he had one Sunday, and then he had another one Tuesday. So the power is starting to creep back in. I like to see that. But Curiel is a guy that when you start seeing him going up the middle and backside with some oomph on it, his swing's coming back, and he was finally able to turn on an inside pitch and drive it. Expect big things from Curiel going on the rest of the year. I'll be honest, I still think Curiel comes back. I'm not breaking news. This is purely my opinion. I thought there was a chance he comes back just because of leverage and Major League Baseball and bonus offerings and all that jazz. But I think there's a chance he comes back. Whether he does or he doesn't, still going to have a great year for Curiel going forward. Lackenmeyer will come out to start the fourth and work a 3 up and 3 down inning, getting the bats back to the plate. Now, with Lackenmeyer, I'll be honest. You could ask some of my friends in our group chat. Seeing Lackenmeyer come to the bump over the weekend, it always gave me pause. It was like, okay, trust Jay Johnson, trust Nate Yeskie, trust Jay Johnson, trust Nate Yeskie. I'm not saying I'm not a big fan of Lack. I'm just saying it left some to be desired. Lackenmeyer showing up and he's throwing good innings now. He's throwing some good pitches. I like what he's doing. Hopefully he keeps it up going on the rest of the year. In the bottom of the fourth, Milam would hit his second homer of the day from the left side of the plate now, third of the season, nodding the game up at 6. That's when we go into our weather delay. So going into the weather delay, like I talked about, this team starting up flat. And we talked about on the watch along. We wondered, if you were watching at home, you probably saw that, I call it a gaggle, or you see a huddle in the dugout and they're talking to Jay. You could honestly reason that Jay is saying, this is where you're supposed to be. This is what I want you doing. This is what you're not going to be doing. This is our tentative time to start again. I want you doing this to warm up. I want you doing this. You could have been thinking he was just giving the guys direction of what to do from then on. I didn't see it that way. Jay runs a tight enough program. I don't think he has to worry about his guys doing anything crazy during the weather delay. I think that was him telling them, hey, stop playing with your food. You're a better team than this. This is Southern. Come out here and put your foot on their throats, please. If they keep coming out flat, we're not going to have to worry about joining the coach committee to fund LSU baseball for what Jay wants to do. We're going to have to worry about funding Jay's medical bills. He's going to start having some heart problems. After the rain delay, SEC Player of the Week, Seth Dardar, 2-4. SEC Player of the Week will launch a shot off the right field wall and get his first triple of the year. If you watch Go Deep Dive, Zach called me out. I deserve it. Sunday, Dardar was a triple shot of the cycle, and I said I don't think he has the jets to get there. And Alex Box is a hard place to hit a triple. It's a hard place to hit a triple. Dardar got the wheels. Congratulations, 2-4 on the triple. My favorite part, though, I love Lynn Rollins. I wish Lynn Rollins had an X. I wish he had a Twitter profile because I think it would be just gems 24/7. Him rounding second and going, he spit the bit. It was just baseball glory. Aaron Beatty would then work a full count and deliver with an RBI single, giving LSU the lead for the first time tonight. Beatty being back behind the plate, he looked good. Matter of fact, Beatty would gun down a guy, a would-be base stealer, at the bottom of the first and do I have high hopes for Beatty. I know Jay Johnson does too. Right now, I don't think you take Cerna out of the lineup, though. He's too hot. We're going to talk about who at Tennessee is pitching this weekend a little bit, but right now, Cerna is still my guy behind the plate, no matter what. Stanley would walk, and then Cerna would get to a favorable bounce off the Southern shortstop to get on base and drive in another run. Like I said, when you're hot, the ball just does things. From what I remember this correctly because I watched it again today. It was kind of ball a little far up the middle, a little further up, but the guy was in good position. It just came up his arm, shot in the center field, shallow center, and he got on base. Nothing you can do about that. When you're hot, you're hot. Curiel would walk and then fly out. York would fly out for a sacrifice fly, driving in the run. Let's talk about Zach York. I know I made some people upset Monday when I said, hey, you need to step it up. Y'all took that a little wrong. I like to see that York was really putting some drives on the ball. I'm sorry, I had something just fall out of nowhere in this room. York really putting some drives on the ball. He hit one 407 to center that, was a hard hit ball. He had one to right. I think it was actually on this one that he thought was out, but it just was a line drive. Just didn't get enough, didn't get high enough. Zach York's turning around. He is a guy that I said before, I would let him hit it out. I would let him just get up to the plate, hit it out. His defense is great at first. I don't care what anybody says. Stop hating on the kid. He's doing great things at first base. Now, the next thing, I want y'all to remember this moment, this next part of the game, when Jay Johnson tries to manufacture runs. A lot of people I see on X or hear about on podcasts or post game reactions. Why did Jay do this? What is Jay thinking? No, stop questioning the man. Because when it works, it works. He would try to work he would manufacture a run by sending who was that first? Who was that second? Real quick. Curiel. He would send Curiel up to second early so that the pitcher would step off and have to turn and at least address Curiel, knowing that Cerner was at third, heading home. Now, the relay home to throw to home is off the line. Cerner scores. Curiel ends up at third due to lackadaisical nature of Southern during that play. Remember when that worked, he's going to do it again in a moment when you may need it. Remember how that worked and stop questioning Jay, please. And right after that, Baby Pearson, the motorboat himself, would show up and he would motorboat a laser beam. That was a Star Wars Stormtrooper red laser beam out of a blaster straight to left field, 110 miles per hour. I was wondering what that noise was. I apologize, everybody. Weird noise going on in the house right now. Getting ready for Easter, children's birthday. I apologize. So Pearson hits the ball at the left field. Got it. Pearson is scorching hot right now. You're getting hot. This is what I like to see. Milam's hitting the ball well. Again, I'm not expecting a lot out of Milam. I want his defense. That's what I want him caring about. He's not even taking in and out. Somebody asked him in a press conference, why isn't Milam taking in and out? He goes, does he need it? He's got enough to deal with. That's my choice. That's what Jay said. He doesn't need to take in and out. And I think Milam's been just fine without it. So now that we're here, and of course, LSU, I'm not going to carry on with the Southern game. I want to hit some highlights. They win 16-6. It was a 10-run rule after 7. Great job to our team to come out after the wet rain delay and not let the delay kind of slow anything down. If anything, it picked it up. Honestly, I think the guys needed it. Sometimes you need a rain out. Sometimes you need a weather delay in baseball. It just happens. But right now, we're at the midpoint of the season. So I'm kind of give y'all my takeaways on this LSU baseball team currently. Are they where I thought they would be? No, they're not. Are players in positions I thought they would be? For the most part, yes. I did think Beatty would be your everyday catcher. Cerner's taking that role, but he's hot, so he's not going to move. I thought that Braden Simpson or Trent Carraway would be at third. It looks like you need to tattoo John Pearson's name in that lineup. Seth Dardar at second base, I said I wanted from the beginning of the year. You need to tattoo that name in the lineup. It's kind of funny how Seth Dardar's back at second base and the double play has found its way back to, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's no longer just 6-3 double plays from Milam doing all the work. It's now movement and chemistry between him and the second baseman. The way those two move and they're fluid with one another it makes me happy. And Dardar's getting hot as well. Your team, and of all the people we haven't talked about the last couple of days, has been Jake Brown. He's coming back down to earth. Am I worried about Jake Brown? No, he's still putting great swings on the ball. He's just hitting it right at people or just missing it by that much. Jake Brown's fine. There's no need to worry about it. The same way with Seth Dardar. He was either right at people or just missing it by that much. He's going to be fine. Seth Dardar's getting hot. Derek Curiel's getting hot. York's going to find it. I have all the faith in the world in that. Pearson's getting hot. Cerna is hot. Curiel's getting hot. Stanny's quietly leading your team in batting average in the SEC. Anybody think he needed at bats coming in SEC play? I didn't. Jake Brown's going to find it again. This team is starting to get to the right point where they need to be. Okay. It's going to be exciting baseball. And I feel like a broken record, but this Tennessee series will tell you a lot about this team and where they are at this moment. I can tell you myself from hearing from a player this week that they cannot wait to go kick, I quote, Tennessee butt. They're not afraid of Tennessee. I know it's not a Tony Vitello Tennessee team anymore. It's not the same aura or same feeling, but the coaches are still trying to fight opposing fans and outside the stadium. So if you missed that video, that was a pretty funny one. I wasn't really mad at the coach, though. He was just trying to defend a lady and her kid. Let's see. Did I miss anything else? I haven't. What's Beatty's role for the near future? I'm not going to say the future because, if I knew that, I would have won the Powerball a long time ago. Right now, I think Cerna has the job until further notice, until he cools off tremendously. He has to cool down a lot. Like I said Monday, it's a pros and cons thing. You're getting the same defensive play out of both of them, basically. One's hotter at the plate. Now, Beatty is starting to find the swing again. He's doing well, but Cerna going to hit the ball anywhere he wants, and he's getting on base. I love Eddie Yaman. He's not in the picture anymore. I love him. He's not in the picture anymore. Maybe a pinch hitter here or there, but he's not in the picture anymore. Let's go to comments real quick. Uncle Randy, loving the baseball talk. Need to win this series in Knoxville. We do. Let's and the Tennessee fans are still every bit as obnoxious. I've never been to Tennessee's ballpark and been around their fans. I've actually heard decent things from people. Let's be honest, guys. LSU fans can be obnoxious too. Y'all remember the Glasscock kid from West Virginia last year in the Super? That kid still has nightmares about outbox. But let's talk about this series and the how necessary it is for us to win this series. I can't remember off the top of my head. Let me think. 1, 2. You are 4-5 in SEC play right now, I want to say. Let me know in the chat if I'm wrong or not. I think you're 4-5 in SEC play. To get into the dance, to get into postseason play comfortably without having to do crazy things in Hoover, I think you need 15. You need to be 500. You got 7 series left. Need to win 11 games, so that puts you at winning at least 5 more series. And you have a lot of tough teams coming up. There's not coming into the season, I made a big mistake. Made a big mistake when we talked about LSU baseball and SEC play. I looked over a lot of teams. I'll be honest. I was that high on this LSU baseball team. I thought, well, they don't have the talent. They don't have the talent. Well, guys, it's SEC baseball. They all have the talent. South Carolina gave Arkansas a run for their money after Paul Maneri was let go. South Carolina is going to be a different team. Georgia is a great team. Mississippi State, with their first-year head coach, is a great team. You have to get to 15 to get in the dance. But that's not hosting. And if I'm not mistaken, LSU has never won a College World Series when they haven't hosted a regional or super regional. A lot of people are not going to be happy to hear that, but that's the truth. Do you need to host? You don't. I trust Jay to get this team ready. They almost beat North Carolina in the regional a couple years ago, but that's neither here nor there. Would you like to host? Yeah, because you want to have postseason baseball at the box. You want to at least host a regional or put yourself in a position where if you win a regional, you could possibly host a super, but you need 15. You need to be comfortable enough to know that you're getting in the dance. You need 15. Then you're going to win a couple in Hoover. To host, I think you need to win to put yourself. Somebody asked me what we needed to have a top 8 national seed the other day, which I think is far and beyond what should be expected or wanted from this team right now, just because of the position they're in. To be a top 8 national seed, you're going to have to win out on these series. Not saying sweep them. I'm never going to say sweep a team, not in the SEC. But you're going to need to win the next 7 series. You're going to have to win. You have to be at 18 wins to host a regional and a super and be a top 8 national seed. Do I see that happening? It's possible. Before this season, I said this team had a chance to be the first LSU Baseball national championship team to win the SEC outright and then win a national championship. Is that in the cards anymore? I don't think so. I'll be honest. Is it possible? Yeah. Anything is possible. Look at Sunday. A lot of fans had LSU losing in the second inning. Came back and won in an emphatic fashion. Joker. Have they made to Omaha without hosting? I don't believe so. I do not believe so. Uncle Randy, I think 14 is probably a lock with the parity in SEC. Other than Mississippi State and Texas, Georgia's off to a hot start, but playing a weak schedule so far. I have a hard time saying they're playing a weak schedule just because they're playing an SEC schedule. This isn't football. Any SEC team can beat any team on any given day. Oklahoma was ranked, number 8 in the country. You almost beat them in the series. In my opinion, you should have beaten them in the series, but I don't think Oklahoma's a better team than you. Personally, the rankings would say differently. In 24, we got 2 seed with 13 wins, but of course, we also made a deep Hoover run. That's what I mean. At 13 wins, you have to make a deep run in Hoover. Jay doesn't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Why? I don't like Hoover just because you're putting pitchers and people in positions to get hurt. It's more pitches on an arm. It's a weird schedule. It messes you up from your regular weekend schedule. If you go up there with 13 wins, you're probably playing on Tuesday after a weekend series. So you're already going to be limited on pitching. I'd rather go back. I wish we were in a position where we could say we're not going to need Hoover and we could just throw Kane Anderson and Anthony Ison on the same day and get on out of there. It's not looking that way. Are we going to need to make a run at Hoover? Probably. That means your bullpen arms have to come around. Have to be a little bit better. Cooper Moore has to come back, and he has to be healthy. Yeah. So hopefully we don't get to that point. Joker. We will know more about Georgia after this weekend. Mississippi State. Yeah. Yep. Are they playing at the trailer park or are they playing in Georgia? Joker, can you tell me that? No, Randy, I do respect every team in the SEC. Yeah, I know. We all do. And you have to. I mean, there's really only one team. 2 teams in the SEC I can't stand. And that's Arkansas and Florida. Arkansas, because I've met a couple cool Arkansas fans, but the majority of them I've met have been just terrible people. And then Florida, because I just can't stand Florida. I can't stand Sully. I can't stand the way they act. I can't. And baseball, so that's compare those 2 programs. I promise you, Sully doesn't have a problem going to his brass and saying, "Hey, I need this." You never have a sellout crowd in Florida. Never. Give Jay Johnson some money. Give him some money. All right. Let's talk about Tennessee. My keys to winning this series. Now, I've listened to Joker. I've listened to Go Deep Dive. I've listened to Babin. I've listened to all these guys. The thing I look at when I look at this series against Tennessee is I got real curious on Tennessee's offense because I think the key this weekend is going to be our starting pitching. Tennessee is 13th in the SEC in batting average, and they're 6th in the K rate. So how often they strike out the plate. So they're doing a lot better at the plate as far as striking out than I thought they were. I thought they were going to be striking out at a higher clip, but they're right underneath middle of the pack. They're doing pretty good. LSU, our pitching staff, is 3rd in strikeouts. I think that's going to change this weekend. And they're also 3rd in batting average against. So you have the advantage from the mound, which I think is something you're going to need. Everybody wants to talk about Tennessee's ballpark being a bandbox. And yeah, it's a bandbox. It's a small ballpark. It's a little league ballpark. They play the Little League World Series there. I know they don't. I'm making a joke. But it's a small ballpark. I get it. What kills you in small ballparks is not solo home runs. It's walks. It's walks. LSU is 9th in the SEC in ERA and in walks per 9 innings. You're right in the middle of the pack. You have to cut down the walks this weekend. And no, it's not the umpire's fault. I don't care. Don't leave it in his hands. You walk these guys, they're gonna put runs on the board. It's that simple. I'm not going. The key to this weekend is our pitching staff, and I'm not going to put a whole lot of key on our offense just because our offense is so fluid right now and unpredictable at times that I don't want to sit here and say the offense has to do this or that. You need to have the same outings that William Schmidt had last weekend, where if you let a guy get on base or you have a leadoff base hit or you had a leadoff walk, you pitch around it and you stop it. Tennessee is not going to run the bags like Kentucky did. Tennessee is not going to manufacture runs or move guys over like Kentucky did. That's a benefit, but at the same time, if you walk guys and then one of them starts to hit the ball 230 feet and it's gone, that's going to hurt you. That's when solo home runs turn to 2, 3 RBI home runs or 2 or 3 run shots. That's what you need to kind of limit this weekend, in my belief. You need to limit walks. Honestly, attack the strike zone, attack these hitters. I still don't believe in Tennessee not having. When I went and looked up the K rate, I was surprised, highly surprised. I thought they'd be having a lot higher K rate than they have from watching Tennessee baseball this year, because I do watch more than just LSU baseball because I am a baseball fan. But I do think Kason Evans, William Schmidt, and as we found out today, Gavin Guidry are going to have to attack the strike zone. They're going to have to really kind of get after their pitchers in a way that leads to more strikeouts. They're playing in the trailer park. All right. I call Starkville the trailer park because the great Skip Bertman said that Starkville was translated into trailer park from Native American language. All right. Let's talk about our weekend starters. The keys to the game, the keys to the victory this weekend. Kason Evans. Now, Kason Evans had a rough start last weekend. I don't believe Kason Evans is a fan of Tennessee. I don't believe this team is a fan of Tennessee, whether Tony V is there or not. Hopefully, they take that same fire they had against Kentucky, and Kason Evans can harness that fire and go attack. He's not going to have 15 strikeout game. If he does, I will sell every piece of podcast equipment I have and never do this again. If he does that Friday, I hope he does. It would suck because I'd miss talking to you guys, but I just want say this is the line I want from Case Evans Friday. 6 innings pitched, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, 2 to 3 earned runs. I think that wins you the game. If William Schmidt can come out and he can be the same William Schmidt he was last week, where he wasn't perfect, but he was able to work through and induce ground balls and induce fly balls, I'll take that. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, Gavin Guidry. Nobody loves Gavin Guidry. Well, say it back. Everyone in LSU baseball fan base loves Gavin Guidry the same amount as I love Gavin Guidry. I am worried about seeing him as the starter for Sunday. Why am I worried? I don't think he has starter in him. I hope he proves me wrong. Jay and Nate Yeski believe he has a starting potential. I'm going to trust in them. I would have rather seen Zach Cowan in that position. And to kind of touch on that, I hear a lot of people talk about, well, use a Sunday guy as somebody who, if you didn't need to use them Friday or Saturday, you start them Sunday. I respectfully disagree wholeheartedly on that. I think I've talked about this before. Guys need to know they're starting. They need to be able to prepare. They need to be able to do what they need to do to get through and get themselves in position to be ready to start on that day. They can't be getting up and cooling off, getting up and cooling off. You can't do that. I'm happy he told Gavin early. I'm sure Gavin knew last week early anyway, but I wish it was Zach Cowan. I'll be honest. Hopefully that leaves Zach somewhere to finish off maybe a game 1 or game 2 or come in relief of game 3 and shut the door. But I'm going to have faith in Jay and Nate on that. I'm not going to lie. I'm worried about Gavin Guidry. I'm worried about it. I just hope he comes out. He has that fire he needs to get where he needs to be. I've left that comment up for way too long. Way too long. Let's get back to the comments before we get out of here. Joker, I'll buy it. I know you would. I know you would. Love number 8. Why not try Cowan on Sunday? That's yeah, I don't know. I mean, out of your bullpen, Cowan has the most starting experience in your bullpen. I know last year before the injury, they were ramping Gavin up for a starting role. Maybe that's something they're kind of pushing with now because they have the opportunity. Could Cooper Moore possibly come back in a bullpen role to start to get himself back into the rhythm? Possibly. I don't know. I kind of see Zach Cowan being another starter for you. If you do get into postseason play, why not start him now? I don't know. I love number 8 as either the setup or the closer, sub guy or the closer, and bring the energy. Yeah, I mean, Guidry does bring some energy to the mound that other guys don't. And I love that passion behind him. I love kind of like I always say, that a lot of people call him G unit and they bring some energy to the mound. It's different, but I don't know. I wish it was Cowan as well. Cowan was a Friday guy for Wofford, and who will ever forget the Arkansas game in Omaha? Yeah, I thought, yeah, I promise you, Uncle Randy. If it was me making the lineup card, it would have been Zach Cowan on Sunday. I hope to see Cowan multiple games. See, that's the thing. I hope to see Cowan multiple games. I don't think Cowan's that kind of guy. And honestly, if you had faith in your bullpen, you wouldn't need that. You could kind of match guys up to a point to have different arm actions, different pitch types, different velocities, different arms, sides of the rubber they're pitching from. That's kind of what I like to see out of a bullpen. Personally, I think that's what made LSU kind of so great last year and in 23. You don't have that Riley Cooper arm that's just made of rubber and so elastic this year that it can do that. I don't think Zach Cowan's that kind of guy either. I think Zach Cowan's more or less a one outing a weekend guy. That's why I'd rather see him in a starting role to get more use out of him. Zach Cowan this year has been better in roles where he's gone multiple outings. So that's my 2 cents on that. But that's it for the show today. Make sure you get your pick to clicks in. Go sign up for the coaches committee. Above all else, God loves you. Hold on. God does love you. All he wants you to do is love him back. I have a bunch of pick to click stuff down here. A couple things I'm waiting to say for certain weekends. Give me some ideas of what y'all may want for pick to click. There are some things I am getting. Getting some things. Let me touch on this. He showed it Sunday by going to the pin. He did show it by going to the pin Sunday. That was a Zach Cowan decision. Jay would have went to Cowan last ditch effort to win the game. Jay wasn't looking to use Cowan in that role. I promise you that. If that would have been break glass if needed type deal. But give me an idea what y'all want to do for pick to click. I love you all. God loves you all. I hope y'all have a great day. If I don't talk to you now, until then, I may do a watch along Saturday. I'm not sure. I have a lot going on around here. I talked about reaching out to some old friends of mine, some former guests, if they want to join me on the watch long. But if not, hope y'all have a great Easter. Rejoice in the word of the Lord. Exalt his name. And I hope all of you have a great Easter and a great weekend. Hope the Tigers win the series. Go Tigers. God loves you. I love you. Have a great night. Let's walk it off.